Welcome to a 2.5-minute research briefing by the MESA Group. Our work provides a more complete range of perspectives on major events and contested policies. We focus on narrative in order to draw out how historical context, identity, cultural myth, and perceived necessities influence how an issue is understood by a group of people. More importantly, our work seeks to identify what those people consider to be a good policy or good action toward an issue. The idea being, if we can provide a more complete picture of these perceptions of good action, common ground might be found among competing groups. The project we'll discuss today was funded by the Department of Homeland Security to gain a more complete Central American perspective on the driving factors behind migration from the Northern Triangle to the United States, and detail proposed solutions to the challenges presented by migration from a Central American point of view. This particular study applied a strategic narrative analysis to media coverage of migration coming from Mexican, Guatemalan, Salvadoran, and Honduran sources to bring to light commonly discussed viewpoints and perspectives on migration.
From the Mexican and Northern Triangle media perspectives, violence and poverty are understood structural causes of migration. Escape from unbearable violence and poverty in an era of hyperhuman mobility makes addressing the challenges presented by migration that of human decency. Both Mexican and Northern Triangle media make an argument to change the migratory paradigm toward a humanitarian perspective. Northern Triangle migrants' primary motivators are shown as arising from their nation's institutional failures to address violence, poverty, and corruption, and it suggests that strengthening those nations' institutions may have the largest effect in curtailing migration. Both media systems offer perspectives that advocate solutions to migration which involve attacking multiple fronts at once: education, corruption, entry and exit screening, migrant worker visas, altering asylum applications so as not to incentivize transnational travel. Both media systems place an emphasis on the need to improve the safety of migration routes so that they are free from exploitation, lead migrants to wage opportunities and vocational training while on the journey, and aid migrants returning home. Perspectives provided on the U.S. are decidedly negative, with the bulk of such negative coverage juxtaposing the U.S. and U.S. actions to a human rights argument for migration. The takeaway being that the U.S. has failed to make an intelligible and resonating argument for how its actions towards migration simultaneously serve the interests of both the migrant human rights and the system's sustainability required to protect human rights of its own citizens. Finally, Mexican media demonstrate a political will to develop a transnational idea of the Mexican dream as an aspirational pursuit of economic and vocational achievement open to migration and migrants. The general argument is that Mexicans have learned how to benefit from the migration process in its dealings with the United States, and that Mexico understands how to effectively utilize the labor of migrants in ways that will be beneficial to all parties. Effectively, Mexican media argue that because the Mexican people have experiences as being and hosting migrants, they are uniquely qualified to discover workable solutions. There is a heavy investment in this rhetoric coming from the Mexican leadership.
There's promising research by Dr. Larry Kuznar at NSI noting that extremely vulnerable populations significantly reduce risk-taking behaviors such as migration when provided base wages and security. Both Mexican and Northern Triangle perspectives on good action toward migrants and the challenges posed by migration point toward initiatives that create such safe routes and help train migrants in vocations that have readily available labor shortages while they're on the migration journey. These opportunities might be thought of as branches diverting people from the trunk of migration toward fruitful educational and employment opportunities, hoping to alleviate the poverty and misery of the migration experience, while the root problems of violence and corruption are seen as needing collective Central American state solutions. Thank you.